Okay, I haven't actually Mod Podged these yet. They're not dry, not quite. They're going to take a while to dry. Now, when you do go over it, you have to make sure that you get right into the corners. There are a couple of little pieces that I've missed, but I don't think that's going to matter much. So, and everything has been covered completely. Like I said, it's still a bit damp. This has been covered completely except for the bottom. But other than that, it's all been done. So, I did say that I wanted to put it on a stand. And this is what I'm going to use the stand. I'm going to use for the stand. So this, I think this is slightly thicker chipboard. This is all leftover bits that I've cut down. And I think this is 3mm chipboard. But you could do without a stand altogether. Or you could use 2mm, you know, whatever you have really, because like I said, I'm trying to use up everything. So the smallest piece, sorry, my voice is going, is 9 1/8 of an inch by 4.5 inches. And then you need a second piece, which is 10 1/8 of an inch, so it's an inch longer than this one, and 5 inches, so it's half an inch longer than this one. Okay, now on the back of this one, you can see it's 3 thick. All I've done is, you can see all the different little bits, is I've used all different bits to stack this up. So this is one solid piece, but everything else underneath is made up of little bits and pieces. Okay, and just to make sure, I just run my knife round to make sure that that's okay. Now this piece now needs to be glued on to this piece. So once again, using too much glue. Okay, and I'm going to place this bit, place it this way around actually. I'm going to place it so that I have no gap at the back, so it's flush with the back, and I have a 1/2 inch gap each side and a 1/2 inch overhang at the bottom at the front as well. Then I'm going to put that to dry. And I have to start thinking about what I want as a closure. And what hinges I'm going to use. And what feet I'm going to use. I'm also going to have little feet on the end of here as well. So I've gone through and I found these hinges, which I really, really like. So these are going to be the hinges that I am using. Like I said, because I really like the shape of these. I do have some more rounded ones, but I'm pretty sure these are the ones that I'm going to use. And I'm going to use two on each door. So yes, 2 on each door. So I'm going to have, this is the kind of day I'm having already. So I'll be having on each door like this. 1, 2. And I'll be putting these on before I do anything else, so before I put this on, because I want to measure up to make sure that I have them exactly the right spacing on each one. Right, the other thing I have to decide is on a closure. Now obviously the closure I will probably have in the middle here where I've made this little indentation. And I was thinking maybe, and I've lost it, now I use these a lot in my Etsy store, with the things that I make for my Etsy store, so I do have quite a few of these. But I was thinking maybe of having this, and then the choice then is you can either have a peg, like a little pin to go in it to keep it closed, or you can actually have a little mini padlock and keep it padlocked shut, which I quite like the idea of. But then this is quite rounded, so maybe the rounded hinges would look better. So well, I've lost those hinges completely. Right, but I also have to decide on what I'm going to use on the drawer front to match in if I do use this. And I also have to figure out what I'm going to use as legs to match in with all of it. Now I thought what might look quite nice maybe is the lion. I quite like the lion because I do have some lion feet which would look really nice on the bottom. And I do quite like it, but I think once again, because this is round, I mean I do have other ones, but yeah, this is just some ideas of what I may or may not use. So I will try and find the other bits and pieces, hinges, and I'll go through and I'll see which ones look best whilst I'm waiting for everything to dry, because I can't do anything yet until this is dry, and that's going to take a good few minutes before I can put the top on and then start building it up again. Okay, so I'll be back when I've got that sorted. We have another change of plan. Whilst I was mucking around, I decided I did not like the way the drawer was looking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a separate, I've taken the front off the drawer. I'm going to make this into a box, so just a plain drawer, a plain box, open topped box. So I have to make a back piece exactly the same as this piece, and then I'm going to add the original front back on top of it, and hopefully it will stick. Because it really wasn't strong enough and it wasn't going too well. So the two things I have to do are cover this completely in the book papers and make a separate front for this. So I'm going to do that now, and as you can see, I have tried several different ways to put this on and I didn't like any of them. So I'm going to start that again. I have chosen my door furniture. I'm going to have this on the drawer front, and this bolts right the way through. So if I find a long enough bolt, I'll be able to bolt it right the way through the front of this and the actual, oh heavens to Betsy, I cannot remember my words today, straight the way through to the drawer front and the base of the front, and that should help keep them together as well. So I'm going to do that off camera because you know how it is. All I've got to do is make another piece of that, stick it on the front and cover this in paper. So I'm going to do that and then I'll be back. Okay, I am back waiting for this to dry. It still has not dried quite, so I haven't Mod Podged it yet. So what I've decided to do is do a little bit of painting before I do a bit of Mod Podge. So I have, and this is a really old one, and I will say this about the Tim Holtz Distress Paint. This was old stock from Pickwell Farm Shop, so I only paid £1 for it, and I've had it a couple of years and it still works perfectly. It hasn't changed colour, it hasn't, you know, it hasn't gone gunky. So what I'm going to do is just give this a little bit of squeeze around the edges. Like I said, I'm kind of making this up as I go along. I haven't got any set plans, so we'll just have to see how this turns out. Apart from me getting it all over my fingers, of course. So you won't hear any sniffing at the moment because, oh, sneezing, because the dog, oops, just move my camera. The dog is not in the room. He has got a vet's appointment for tomorrow. So hopefully he'll be okay. I think that's kind of what I'm going for. It's hard to tell when you haven't got a plan. Right. Now I don't want to do inside because obviously I'm not going to be able to pat inside. So, oh, well. So I keep on moving my view of the camera. So, okay, I do seem to have a few problems with my camera. So hopefully this will be okay. It's not going to go off again. It keeps on going off. So I've gone around with the paint. Gosh, it looks really orange on camera. It's not really that orange. It's quite a nice colour. It is antiqued bronze. So the next thing I want to do is mix up. I've got some old acrylic paints. I've got it in black and gold. Now these are from the Works and they are very inexpensive. I think they're like £1 each. So that will be my next one. I am not going to attach the box to the base until after I've put on all the hinges and the feet. You put the feet on first, because it's a lot easier to do it that way round. So, right, I now have to find a pot or something. One pot. So this is just cheap acrylic paint. Which I'm going to make a real terrible mess with, I can tell. Well, look at that. I've had this for years and I've never used it. Oh, and that's my phone. Okay, let's see if we can get through this without any more interruptions. Highly unlikely. So I've mixed together the black and the gold. So it's kind of like a lovely bronzy, coppery, greeny sort of colour. And all I'm doing is taking most of the paint off and giving it a good brush around the edges that I've already done with the gold bronze paint, or whatever colour it was. I can't remember now. Okay. This could take a while, so I'm going to do all the edges of the door, the base. Obviously that's the bottom of the base, this is the top of the base, but you won't see this because that'll be hidden. And so I'm not being precise or exact with this, I'm actually going quite a lot over. Don't mind where it goes. I might have stuff added to it, I don't know. So let's get those out of the way. Next, I will obviously do the outsides the same as I have done the other bits, but what I really want to use this for is to get in all here, and this is all to be done before obviously it's gone over with the Mod Podge. Because I will be Mod Podging it in and out. And the good thing about this is you can have an old brush and just go mad with it. Doesn't matter if things get ruined. I like art that isn't art, that's just mess. Okay, so I'm going to do that all inside, each little bit, including the draw bit, and then I'm going to do just the edges here, but not these edges. Not those edges, just I'm going to do like just this edge bit here. Yes, I'm going to got to do all around the insides here and do the outside, and when that's done then I'll be back. I'm just going over everything with almost plain gold. You can see there's lots of colours mixed there. That's my phone. Okay, telemarketing this time. I'm not doing too well with this, am I? Right, so what I've done is I've gone all over with the gold. Now it looks awful on camera, but it's not too bad actually. In real life, it's yeah, the gold has hit back the orange quite a bit, and I've done all over everywhere with the gold. No, I haven't done these. So all I've done is I've taken the gold and I've gone basically all over, sort of dry brushing it. And that's just to knock back the colour a little bit. So what I will do is, once again, finish doing that. And if you do that and put too much on, you rub it in. Okay, right. Don't you forget how long these things take when you're out of practice. Okay, so I'm going to finish off doing that, and I haven't done inside. I completely forgot. Look at that. So I have to do inside there as well. So I'm going to do all that, and then I will be back. After this, I am going to Mod Podge it. So when I've done all that, I will Mod Podge it, and then I'm going to leave it for now, and I'll come back with another video putting on the hinges and such like. Thanks for watching. Back soon.